The holding cells in Hope's Calling security complex were clinically sterile, with transparent walls that offered visibility but no privacy. Rourke sat on a narrow bench, back straight despite the circumstances, his military discipline evident even in confinement. In the adjacent cell, Geo Duval paced restlessly, tension radiating from his lean frame. They had been there for just under an hour, enough time for Wei to gloat over his victory before departing to finalize his ascension to chief administrator. The election fraud had apparently been only the beginning of his machinations. "You think Elliot got the signal?" Geo asked, keeping his voice low. Rourke nodded slightly. "Standard protocol: when a commander misses a scheduled check-in, contingencies activate automatically." As if summoned by his words, the facility's main doors slid open with a hydraulic hiss. Major Ichabod Elliot strode in, flanked by 6 Vanguard security officers in full tactical gear. Their weapons weren't drawn, but their posture made it clear they were prepared for trouble. Behind them came Lieutenant Cattleman, carrying a data tablet and wearing an expression of cold professionalism that Rourke had rarely seen on his usually affable face. The Hope's Calling security chief, a short woman with cropped silver hair, intercepted them at the entrance to the holding area. "This is a restricted zone. You have no authority here." Elliot's weathered face creased in a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Actually, we do. Colonial Charter, Section 42, Paragraph 3. Any colonial representative detained without formal charges must be granted immediate access to counsel from their home colony." "They're being held pending investigation," the security chief countered. "Formal charges are forthcoming. Forthcoming isn't good enough." Cattleman stepped forward, presenting his tablet. "This is a writ of habeas corpus authorized by Vanguard Colony's Provisional Council. You will release Captain Rourke and Acting Captain Duval immediately, or face the consequence." The security chief scanned the document, her frown deepening. "This is irregular. Captain Wei is not yet chief administrator," Elliot cut in. "And even if his appointment has been expedited, as he claims, he still lacks the authority to detain colonial representatives without due process." Her jaw tightened. "I need to consult my superiors, by all means," Elliot replied, his tone deceptively casual. "Well, you do. I should mention that 3 Vanguard security transports are currently hovering just outside Hope's Calling's airspace. They're loaded with rather agitated personnel who are very concerned about their captain's well-being." Cattleman added, "We would hate for a diplomatic incident to escalate into something messy." The implied threat hung in the air. The security chief's eyes darted between them, calculating odds and outcomes. "You're bluffing," she decided finally. "Vanguard wouldn't risk open conflict." Elliot's smile widened, showing teeth. "Would you bet the lives of your people on that? Because I guarantee you'll lose that wager. Custer's luck, they call it. I always win the big bets." After a tense moment, the security chief's shoulders sagged almost imperceptibly. "Release them," she ordered one of her officers. "But this will be reported to the council." "I'm counting on it," Elliot replied. As the cell doors slid open, Rourke and Geo emerged with the dignified bearing of men vindicated, not prisoners released. "Thank you for your hospitality," Rourke said to the security chief with pointed politeness. "I trust our next meeting will be under more favorable circumstances." "Don't count on it, Captain," she replied. "The political winds are shifting. Wei's appointment will be confirmed within hours." "Then we'd better not waste any more time," Rourke responded, turning to Elliot. "Transport ready?" "Waiting outside," Elliot confirmed. "Full security detail. We're not taking chances." As they moved toward the exit, Cattleman leaned in close to Rourke. "Sir, did you find what you were looking for?" "We did," Rourke affirmed quietly. "Earth has been silent for over 7 months. The Paradise Protocol is exactly what Maya Duval discovered, a deception to maintain control." Cattleman's expression remained neutral, but his eyes hardened. "We suspected as much when Wei pushed through that fraudulent election result. What's our next move?" "First, we get back to Vanguard," Rourke decided. "Then we prepare to release the truth. All of it." The transport sped across the darkened landscape, its running lights dimmed to reduce visibility. Inside, Rourke sat with his command team, outlining what they had discovered at Hope's Calling's communications array. The authentication signatures on all transmissions supposedly from Earth changed exactly 7 months and 12 days ago, he explained. Before that point, they used standard Earth command encryption protocols. After, they used a variant, similar enough to pass casual inspection, but definitely not originating from Earth. Could it be a technical issue? Cattleman asked. Maybe Earth changed their protocols? Not without notification, Geo countered. Any change to authentication procedures requires advance warning to all colonial vessels. There was none. More importantly, Rourke added, there's no response to outgoing transmissions. None. The colonial leadership is maintaining the illusion of communication in both directions, sending queries to Earth and fabricating the replies. Elliot whistled softly. So we're truly alone out here, cut off completely. It appears so, Rourke confirmed. And instead of being honest about it, Wei and the others created this Paradise Protocol deception to maintain control. Why? One of the security officers asked. Why not just tell people the truth? Fear, Dr. Caress suggested, speaking for the first time. She had joined them at the last moment, climbing aboard the transport just before departure. They feared panic, possibly collapse of colonial cohesion, so they chose what they saw as the easier path, perpetuating a comforting lie. Or they saw an opportunity, Geo added, his voice hard. With Earth silent, they could become the new authority, create their own vision for the colonies, using Earth's name to justify whatever they wanted. Rourke nodded grimly. Either way, the people deserve to know the truth, which is why we need to broadcast what we've found to all 5 colonies immediately. Wei will fight back, Elliot warned. He'll claim it's fake, that we doctored the evidence, which is why we need independent verification, Rourke decided. Dr. Karras, do we have communication specialists in Vanguard who could authenticate our findings? 3 at least, she confirmed. Plus I know 2 trustworthy experts at New Dawn who owe me favors. Good. Get them assembled. We need credible voices to validate what we've found. The transport began its descent toward Vanguard Colony, the perimeter wall now visible in the distance, outlined by security lights. Rourke felt a surge of pride at the sight. His colony, organized, defended, prepared. Whatever came next, they would face it together. One more thing, he said, as they prepared to land. Cattleman, were there really 3 security transports backing up Elliot's play at Hope's Calling? Cattleman smiled faintly. 6, actually, sir. Major Elliot felt it prudent to have overwhelming force available. Rourke raised an eyebrow at Elliot, who shrugged unrepentantly. Custer's luck only goes so far, Captain, the security chief said. Sometimes you need to bring your own cavalry. Dawn broke over Vanguard Colony with a crimson intensity that seemed fitting for the day ahead. Rourke stood in the communications center, reviewing the broadcast package they had prepared overnight. The evidence was compelling. Authentication signature discrepancies, transmission logs showing the sudden cessation of Earth's responses, technical analyses from 5 independent experts confirming the findings. But would it be enough to overcome the comfortable lie that Wei and the other colony leaders had fostered for months? We're ready when you are, sir, Cattleman reported. Broadcasting on all colonial frequencies, Rourke nodded, straightening his uniform jacket. Let's do this. The camera activated, its red light signaling they were live. Rourke looked directly into the lens, his expression grave but composed. My name is Captain Elias Rourke of Vanguard Colony. Yesterday I lost the election for chief administrator under dubious circumstances that included votes from deceased colonists and statistical impossibilities. But that is not why I'm addressing you today. He paused, allowing the weight of his next words to register fully. I'm speaking to you because the people of all 5 colonies deserve to know the truth. Earth has gone silent. For over 7 months, there have been no authentic transmissions from our home world. The communications you have been told came from Earth Command were fabricated here by members of the colonial leadership as part of something they call the Paradise Protocol. Rourke gestured to a display screen beside him, which began showing the technical evidence they had gathered. Last night, Acting Captain Geo Duvall and I accessed Hope's Calling's communications array and discovered irrefutable proof of this deception. The authentication signatures on all supposed Earth transmissions changed abruptly 7 months ago. Independent experts have confirmed that these new signatures cannot possibly have originated from Earth Command. The screen split to show the communications experts, each offering their technical assessment of the evidence. They spoke in clear, accessible terms about encryption protocols, authentication procedures, and the impossibility of the signatures being genuine. "I understand this is shocking information," Rourke continued when they had finished. "I understand it raises frightening questions about our status and future here. But I know that the people of these colonies are strong enough to face the truth. We deserve better than comfortable lies." He paused again, his expression softening slightly. "This isn't about the election. It isn't about politics. It's about our fundamental right to know our true situation so we can make informed decisions about our future. Together." The broadcast concluded with a final statement. "I will remain at Vanguard Colony, available to anyone seeking further information or verification of these findings. The evidence we've gathered will be made publicly accessible through Vanguard's data networks. The truth belongs to all of us." As the transmission ended, Rourke turned to his team. "Now we wait." "Not for long," Elliot predicted grimly. "Wei will respond immediately." He was right. Less than 15 minutes later, a colony-wide broadcast began, showing Captain Wei, now officially installed as Chief Administrator, seated behind an imposing desk with Earth's flag prominently displayed behind him. "Citizens of the 5 colonies," Wei began, his voice measured and reassuring. "By now many of you have seen the disturbing transmission from former Captain Rourke. I feel it necessary to address his claims directly." Wei's expression conveyed perfect concern, neither dismissive nor angry. "The allegations made by Captain Rourke are categorically false and misleading. Earth remains in constant communication with our colonies. In fact, just this morning I received congratulations from Earth Command on my confirmation as Chief Administrator." The camera pulled back to show a communication screen beside Wei, displaying what appeared to be an official transmission from Earth, complete with authentication markers. "I understand that Captain Rourke's claims may cause anxiety among some of you. This is precisely why he was removed from the election ballot. Concerns about his mental state following the intense pressure of the Odyssey rescue operation had become impossible to ignore." Wei's face grew more somber. "Medical professionals have diagnosed Captain Rourke with a stress-induced paranoid disorder. He is currently refusing treatment, which explains his increasingly erratic behavior and dangerous accusations." The broadcast shifted to show clips from what appeared to be medical evaluations, with experts discussing symptoms of paranoia and stress disorders. "Rest assured," Wei continued when the clips ended, "that Captain Rourke will be offered every medical assistance to recover from this unfortunate condition. In the meantime, I urge all citizens to disregard his claims and continue their important work building our new civilization, secure in Earth's continued guidance and support." The broadcast ended with a final reassurance. "My administration remains committed to transparency and truth. We have nothing to hide and nothing to fear." In Vanguard's communications center, the mood darkened as Wei's message concluded. "He's good," Elliot admitted reluctantly. Sympathy for Rourke's condition while completely discrediting him. Classic disinformation technique. "And that authentication signature on his supposed Earth transmission," Geo said bitterly, "exactly the forgery we exposed, but most people won't know the difference." Rourke remained silent, studying the replay of Wei's broadcast with narrowed eyes. "Monitor colonial communication channels," he ordered finally. "I want to know how people are responding." For the rest of the day, reports flowed in from across the colonies. The reaction was mixed, but disheartening. In Hope's Calling and Sentinel, Wei's explanation appeared to have been largely accepted. New Dawn showed more skepticism, with significant debate on their public forums. In Vanguard, support for Rourke remained strong, but even there, seeds of doubt had been planted. People believe what they want to believe, Karras observed as they reviewed the data, and most want to believe Earth is still there, still guiding us. It's easier than accepting we're alone, Cattleman agreed. Rourke shook his head. We need something more concrete, something Way can't simply dismiss with medical evaluations and forged transmissions. What about a public demonstration? Geo suggested. Access the communication array again, but this time with witnesses from all colonies present. Show them the silence in real time. Way would never allow it, Elliot pointed out. He controls access to all official communication systems now. Then we build our own, Rourke decided. We have the technical expertise in Vanguard. If we can construct an independent array, one that Way doesn't control, Karras looked thoughtful. It's possible. We salvaged considerable equipment from the Odyssey crash. With the right team, we could assemble a basic deep space communication system. Do it, Rourke ordered. Pull whatever resources you need. This is our priority. 3 days later, their efforts were beginning to show promise. The makeshift communication array was taking shape on Vanguard's northern perimeter, built from salvaged components and repurposed equipment. Rourke stood watching the construction, a sense of cautious optimism growing. How soon? He asked Karras, who was supervising the technical work. Another 48 hours minimum, she replied. We're having to recalibrate everything to establish a clean signal path to Earth. But it's progressing well. Their conversation was interrupted by Cattleman, approaching with a tablet in hand and a concerned expression. Sir, you need to see this, he said, offering the device. Population movement data from the past 3 days. Rourke studied the display, his brow furrowing. The statistics showed a clear pattern. Colonists were moving between settlements, but with a definite trend. Vanguard's population had increased by nearly 8,000 people, taking them from 64,000 to 72,000. A staggering jump that represented over a third of the entire colonial population when combined with their previous growth. They're voting with their feet, Geo observed, looking over Rourke's shoulder. Despite Way's explanation, people are flocking to Vanguard. Not just anyone, Cattleman added. Look at the demographic breakdown. Technical specialists, medical personnel, security officers, people with critical skills. The ones most likely to recognize the truth in our evidence, Karras noted, and least likely to accept Way's diagnosis of your condition. Rourke handed the tablet back to Cattleman. Monitor this closely. If the pattern continues... He was interrupted by an urgent communication alert. The main display activated, showing a colony-wide broadcast already in progress. Chief Administrator Way stood at a podium, his expression grave. Given these concerning developments, and in consultation with the Colonial Council, I am invoking Emergency Provision 37 of the Colonial Charter, effective immediately. Rourke's jaw tightened. What is he doing? Establishing temporary travel restrictions between all colonial settlements, Way continued. Until further notice, all intercolonial movement must be approved by central authority. Security checkpoints will be established on all transit routes, and unauthorized travel will result in detention. He's locking down the colonies, Elliot growled. Preventing more people from reaching Vanguard. Way's voice remained smooth, reasonable. These measures are not taken lightly, but are necessary to ensure the safety and stability of our developing society. Recent unsubstantiated claims have created unnecessary anxiety, leading to disruption of critical resource allocation and dangerous population shifts. Unsubstantiated claims, Geo repeated with bitter emphasis. He means the truth. Additionally, Way added, any unauthorized communication equipment being constructed without Colonial Council approval must be immediately dismantled. Unsanctioned attempts to contact Earth risk interfering with official channels and will not be tolerated. The implication was clear. He knew about Vanguard's independent array and was moving to shut it down. This is temporary, Way assured his audience, his expression open and sincere. Once stability is restored, normal movement between colonies will resume. But for now, we must prioritize the collective good over individual preferences. The broadcast ended with a final, pointed statement. Earth continues to guide us through these challenging early days. Let us honor their vision by maintaining the unity and purpose they entrusted to us. Silence fell over Vanguard's command center as the implications sank in. "He's declared martial law," Cattleman said finally, "without using those exact words. "And he's trying to isolate us," Rourke added, "cut off our growing support and prevent us from building an independent communication system." "What do we do?" Geo asked, his hand unconsciously moving to where a sidearm would normally be holstered. Rourke's expression hardened with resolve. "We continue building our array, we accelerate the timeline, and we prepare Vanguard for whatever comes next." "That sounds like a military posture, sir," Elliot observed not disapprovingly. "It is," Rourke confirmed. "Wei has made his choice, control over truth. Now we make ours." Outside, the sun was setting behind Hope's Peak, casting long shadows across Vanguard Colony. In the distance, the first security checkpoints were already being established on the main transit routes, visible barriers between the 5 settlements that had once been united in purpose. The Paradise Protocol had led not to peace but to division, and as darkness fell over the colonies, the question hanging in the air was whether the truth, if they could finally prove it beyond doubt, would unite them again or tear them apart forever. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave it a like and to subscribe if you'd like to see more. Feel free to comment and share it as well. With all that said, go on and check out the video in the top left. I think you might like it.